Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
You know what? I keep up with you a lot. And obviously, growing up, and I remember my dad having, the Rascals music on vinyl and on 8-track. And you've got a brand new memoir that came out this past month, Memoir of a Rascal. And it's like, you got to tell me how this whole thing came about with this book.
Well, I'll tell you, we did a tour. We did a Broadway show called Once Upon a Dream in, 2013, not that long ago. And, during these kind of publicity things that you do to, broadcast or whatever you want to say, publicize the event, the four of us, the original members, would sit and press would ask us questions. And I noticed that everybody had a different answer for the same question. And I said to myself, now, wait a second, not to be humorous, but are we sure that Custer lost that battle? Or I don't know. But anyway, I said, and I could have sworn I was there, and it really
Right.
kind of, I said, I think it's important that I at least document what I remember,
Right.
know? And so that's how it started. And then I kind of realized that, wait a second, I've been here for quite a few decades. And Rascals, with all due respect, were just, maybe 5-6 years of that.
Right.
What about the rest of my life? And that's
Totally.
that's how it came about.
Yeah, well, and once again, though, with the Rascals, and which started out as the Young Rascals, as we both know, you guys had so many incredible hits that are still played and covered by other musicians. But as you mentioned, too, Felix, you've had an incredible solo career as well, and worked with people like Todd Rundgren, and so it's not like you slowed down. And I got to ask you, too, because, getting ready for the interview, and not to embarrass you, how many Hall of Fames are you in? Because I know you're in the Musicians Hall of Fame, Grammy Hall of Fame, Songwriter Hall of Fame, Hammond Organ Hall of Fame. I mean, are you in like every Hall of Fame that is known?
No, I can't dunk a basketball. Can't do
I
it.
just thought that was so neat. It's like a list. It's like of Hall of Fames that you have been brought into during your career.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that. I mean, it's really nice. Got a lot of friends in high places, as they say. It's really nice. These Hall of Fames, they're very interesting. I get people like, for example, in the music business, call me up, like rest their soul, like Eddie Money. You remember Eddie Money?
Oh, totally. Oh my
Eddie
gosh,
Money.
amazing.
Eddie Money called me up and said, Felix, you got to get me in the Hall of Fame. My kids think I'm not. And I said, Eddie, it's a nomination process there.
Right.
There's a nominating board. I can vote, but he says, well, sometimes I feel like the Pete Rose of rock and roll. That's the thing. There's a lot of people. Chubby Checker's another one, and there's so many people. So I'm honored and blessed to be in that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's an interesting place to be.
Well, speaking of which, I know besides this incredible book, and I love the photo on the cover of the book that Linda McCartney shot.
Yeah, which is another, years ago, Linda was a photographer, kind of reporter, and if you look up, she has some beautiful photography collections that are like, the coffee table type, the big type, of many, many, many people during that era. And she was kind enough, her estate, was kind enough to allow me to use that. And I think it's a wonderful shot. It really is nice.
It just looks like rock and roll,
Yeah.
and which, little Steven Van Zandt says that the Rascals were one of the first rock and roll bands also, Felix.
In America, yeah. I mean, because... I put this all in the book, but basically what happened is as a young student, I went over to Europe with a group called Joey D and the Starlighters. Mm-hmm. Their organ player had quit, and they needed a replacement. And so I arrived in Germany, and we went to the first show, which was at a club, and there was this group there opening up for Joey called the Beatles. No one had heard of them yet, not in the United States anyway. So I walk in, and everybody's screaming and hollering. And like I said, oh, seriously, what is this? Oh, that's the Beatles, And I heard them play, and again, I say this in the book, but I said, this looks like a lot of fun. Maybe I should do this. And I really was amazing because, when they did American music, like, for example, they would do like Chuck Berry, or they would do like Little Richard. They're okay,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden they would go into what they wrote, such as, I want to hold your hand. And I'm saying,
Yeah.
something magic in the air, There was no doubt about it, really.
You were very right. And I wanted to bring up too, I heard rumors that you're going to have a new album out this year.
Well, during this wonderful pandemic that we had, through the glory of our computers, I was able to finish one that I had started. I started it back pre-pandemic, and
Right.
we were able to finish it online, so to speak. Which is kind of interesting. It's kind of like kissing your sister. It doesn't really work.
But you know what? You got great new music coming out this year,
Yeah. Well, I enjoy it. I mean, like I say, thank God that we have these computers to do this in, because, we were kind of isolated, and
Right.
the studios were pretty much closed, as you well know, especially in Nashville, and kind of getting back to work now. But I've got at least one done, getting ready to probably put it out in September or something like that. We got to see if we still have a planet. If we have a planet, I'll put it out.
Well, speaking of which, getting back to work, I understand you're going to be on tour with Micky Dolenz of the Monkees this year also. That's got to be pretty exciting to get back out.
A rascal and a monkey. What do you think?
I think it's awesome because between the two of you, the number of hits, I mean, you guys can just play all hits.
Well, I knew all of the fellas of the Monkey Band. We've kind of crossed paths a few times, and I missed them all because they were good human beings. They were good guys, talented guys, and their music is very happy, and so is ours. Mm-hmm. So it should be a real happy event for the audiences. I'm hoping that they'll feel the same way, that we kind of need this now. We need a little bit of joy. And with all due respect, we got to pay attention to the world. But I mean, I think people need to smile and just be a little nostalgic and realize that we're going to be okay.
Well, and also, Felix, there's something very fun about, certainly with your music and the Rascals music, to where the songs, you can sing along, you can be a part of the show. And the same thing with Micky, with the Monkees songs. It's great to be part of that. And like you said, it's uplifting music.
Well, I do this on stage, and I talk to my audience, and I say, in our time, we did not have the Facebooks, the social media, even the internet, But what we did have was this musical connection. We all were. We were hooked into each other. We, meaning, like the fans and the musicians. When Paul fell in love, we knew it. He wrote a song. It was right. Paul's in love. And, I do this on stage. It's my thing. It says, and when Keith got in trouble, we knew. He wrote a song, I'm in jail, I'm in jail, I'm in jail. So I try to reproduce that for our audience, and for people who, may not have been born, that come out to the show and they say, well, what did you all have? Well, we all had music.
Right.
So I asked them to sing, and I put into my solo show, I put in little snippets of songs that they know so that they can sing. Number one, it keeps them awake. Number two, they enjoy singing it.
I think everybody does. And some people may not realize that you started out as a classically trained pianist, at 6 years until like 14, before you evolved into the Hammond B3 organ, which you are so well known for. And I personally love the sound of a B3. Yeah. I don't think they have not figured out a way to fully replicate that sound yet. And you do magic with it, Felix.
Well, it's a really great instrument, and basically it's just, chiropractors love me.
You got to have two people to haul it, you know?
You have to have, and then you have to compensate them very well, because it's very heavy. It really was never made for traveling, even though it's interesting. That was the traveling Hammond organ. The other one, which is the C3, is a church type organ. It's even heavier, Yeah.
But I mean, nothing sounds better, man, with, with the tubes and the sliders and everything else. It's like, I still have my grandparents' B3.
Oh, really?
And,
wow.
and it's like, just keeping it in the family for my daughter. But, hearing somebody like you play it, and just like, so many of the groups back in the day, like Santana, the Allman Brothers, so many mega groups traveled with those B3s and had to have multiple people to move them on and off stage and to bring the Leslies and everything else, Felix.
Yeah, they're a bear. But, the new company that purchased them or merged with them, I think it was Suzuki, Hammond, they make one that's it's pretty darn close. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty close and it's good, but it'll never go away. But the problem is they stopped making them in 1972. So that's a long time ago.
Yeah. And especially as you and I know here in Nashville, it's like there's only a few people that can work on them and keep them up to speed in working order.
Yeah, well, there were some people here. I remember when I first moved here. I got here in 1988, and wow, what happened in Nashville, man? We are now the bachelorette capital of the United States of America.
Yes, we are.
Among other things. I don't know. I think I remember Music Row. You remember that?
Oh, totally. And I still drive down it, but it doesn't look the same.
No. Well, I guess you can't stop, the feeling.
Exactly. Well, and I want to make sure for our viewers, Felix, that they know, with the new book, hopefully you're going to do some book signings. I'm sure you're going to have the books out on tour with you, hopefully with the new album coming out later this year. Where can our viewers go for everything to keep up with you and the book, the music, the shows, everything about Felix Cavaliere?
Well, once again, the old internet, FelixCavalieremusic.com. CAVALIERE.
That's incredible. And I can't wait to see you on tour and to have my personal copy of the book also, Felix.
My pleasure. And thank you so much. I wish I could get down there and see you all.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, especially when you come in with Micky. But thanks so much for coming on the show, Felix.
Well, thank you, Eric. And God bless everybody. Be safe and well.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.